Inspirational Creatives, episode 264.
If we can plant a seed of hope, that seed will grow into something that can really bring us all closer together and realize that we're not that different. We're not that separate.
Welcome to Inspirational Creatives. I'm your host, Rob Lawrence. Join me every Friday as I chat with successful artists, producers, and creative entrepreneurs who share powerful stories and strategies. They can help you to create the life that you want. Listen each week as these inspirational creatives show you how to take your creativity to the next level. You'll learn how to create a sustainable business that inspires others and gives you the financial freedom and lifestyle that you want. Thanks for listening. Make sure you sign up at inspirationalcreatives.com to get free exclusive bonus material. And now, on with the show. Rob here and welcome to this short action episode on Inspirational Creatives. Today we're going to explore the risk of giving too much and how to recognise overworked givers. Before we dive in, if you're new to Inspirational Creatives, these short action episodes, which appear every Wednesday, are designed to help you take some life-changing action towards living the creative life that you want. So what is an overworked giver? Well, in the next few minutes, I hope to share with you exactly what an overworked giver is and how to spot one. I first heard the term when I chatted with the founder of the Joyful Living project, Yasmin Nguyen. The term fascinated me, and I feel having an awareness of it as creatives can add great value not only to our own lives, but to the lives of others. You'll probably recognise an overworked giver once you hear how Yasmin describes them. Chances are you probably know one, you may even be one yourself. In episode 263, Yasmin shared with me how he is travelling across America, bringing attention to those less celebrated joy givers, those who bring joy to so many, whilst highlighting how we ourselves can live lives with more joy. I met Yasmin earlier this year when our paths crossed in Arizona, and he shared with me what he hopes to achieve with his Joyful Living project. In the clip you're about to hear, Yasmin also describes what he means by overworked givers.
So this Joyful Living project is really about expanding possibilities of a quality life for people who are what I call overworked givers, people who care so much about their work, their responsibilities, and they also care so much about the people in their lives, their families, their co-workers, their friends, that oftentimes they feel like they're last on their own list. They feel guilty for taking time for themselves, and they've lost touch with what joy even looks like.
I thought what Yasmin shared with us was fascinating. Yasmin's project is about expanding possibilities for people who he classes as overworked givers. These are people who care so much about their work and their responsibilities, they are often the last on their own list. Ironically, despite their immense expression of love and generosity through their giving, overworked givers are people who feel guilty about taking time out for themselves. Do you recognise them? In episode 263, Yasmin and I went further. I asked him if there are any clues as to how to spot these overworked givers in our everyday lives. Here's what Yasmin kindly shared with us.
What I've discovered is one of the things that these overworked givers have in common is they have a deep desire for connection with their work, their craft, what they do. They take a lot of pride in it. That's why they commit so many hours of their lives doing that, pursuing it, learning, sharing it. They also have a deep connection with the relationships in their lives, their family, their friends, their co-workers. They care so much about them that oftentimes they sacrifice their own desires and time and resources to help them. And what happens with them is that there comes a point in time when you just deplete your energy and your resources trying to sustain those types of connections. And what I've discovered is that when we get to that point, there is a desire to contribute even more. And there's this feeling of guilt, like maybe I don't deserve, or maybe I need to take care of others before me. And ironically, what happens is you start to lose connection with self. And as you start to lose that connection with self, you start to lose ways in which brings ourselves joy, what refills us up. Maybe those hobbies, maybe those people and experiences. And so that's what I've discovered is common amongst the people that I really am committed to helping.
Overworked givers have a deep desire for connection. They commit many hours of their lives pursuing and sharing their resources and their work. They often have a deep connection with their families, friends, co-workers, and they often sacrifice their own desires and resources to help them. Ironically, when overworked givers become exhausted and depleted, their natural inclination is to contribute and give even more. Consequently, they start to feel they are losing connection with self, and they start to lose connection with joy. Ironically, it does not seem intuitive to an overworked giver to give to self. What I understand Yasmin is committed to doing with his various projects is to remind or help these overworked givers to shine a light back upon themselves, reminding them to give to self first, whilst applauding the amazing work that they do.
And so I'm really committed and inspired to help these amazing people see new possibilities, give themselves permission, create a plan, and really practice a life that allows them to make that impact that they want to make.
To wrap up then, in episode 263, I invited Yasmin to share with me what he hopes to achieve through his project and how he feels shining a spotlight on these kind, overworked givers will leave in terms of a meaningful legacy. Here's what he shared with me.
My hope is that in some way this will impact and inspire people that I may not ever meet to make some sort of shift in their life for themselves, for those around them, and cumulatively as a community or country experience that shift. I think we're at a really critical moment in time of our lives right now in our country with so much negativity, so much divisiveness and pain and suffering and stress, that if we can plant a seed of hope, that seed will grow into something that can really bring us all closer together and realize that we're not that different. We're not that separate. That we all aspire to have joy, to be kind, to be appreciated, to appreciate others. And so that's my hope, is to be a conduit for people to have a shift.
So to summarise then, overworked givers are kind, loving people who often feel a deep sense of connection by generously overgiving. They often put others before themselves and often sacrifice their own needs to support others. When their own resources become depleted or exhausted, their tendency is to give more, not to stop and give to self. Consequently, they lose a sense of self and a sense of connection with joy, which in turn fuels the loop of overgiving further. Not only is Yasmin's Joyful Living project shining a light on these wonderful people, he is reminding us that we need to look out for them and help them to make sure that their own needs are met too. My belief is that their needs are just as important as our needs, as the needs of those they generously give to. We need to look for the signs shared in this episode and support those people, not just by raising their profiles and celebrating the great work that they do, but by making sure that their needs are met. To learn more about Yasmin and the Joyful Living Project, head on over to joyfullivingproject.com. The link is also in the episode show notes in episode 264, if that's easier for you. You can also hear my full conversation with Yasmin on inspirationalcreatives.com. Look for the episodes button at the very top and find episode 263. To hear more of Yasmin's fascinating story and the great work that he himself is doing in the world. Thanks for listening today. Feel free to drop me an email at rob@inspirationalcreatives.com and let me know how these thoughts and ideas resonated with you today. Join me again soon for another episode of inspirationalcreatives.com, and I'll chat to you soon. Thanks for listening. Nothing beats the stories and advice of an expert to help you raise your creative game. I would love to know what you thought about today's episode, so don't forget to subscribe in iTunes, where you can rate and review the show. If you like this episode, I invite you to share it on Facebook or Twitter with the one person you know who will benefit from the wisdom shared here today. You can find the show notes on inspirationalcreatives.com/podcast. If you have a burning question or a great idea for a guest, head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com/contact, where you can connect with me there. This episode of Inspirational Creatives is hosted on the podcast platform Libsyn. If you're thinking of starting your own podcast and if you're looking for a podcast host, Libsyn is the podcast hosting platform that the Inspirational Creatives podcast has been reliably hosted on since launching in November 2014. If you'd like to give it a try, I'm pleased to share with you the promo code CREATIVE, which you can use on libsyn.com. That promo code is good for up to 2 months free trial. If you use the code at the beginning of a month, then you'll receive all of that month and the next month free. However, if you use the promo code later in the month, you'll get the remainder of that month free and the following month free too. That promo code is CREATIVE, which you can use on libsyn.com.